Join us at Smart Family Media Center here today. We'd also like to welcome our audience joining us via Clemson Plus through our partners at Fox Carolina and 105.5 WCCP FM The Roar. For this group, reminder that credentials for our home opener against Appalachian State are open through noon on Wednesday. If you have not submitted, please go ahead and do so. Quick note for fans, currently Disney channels, including ACC Network, are presently not available on DirecTV amid carriage negotiations. Fans should visit getaccn.com to see available options to watch the game this weekend. Our format for today, Coach Swinney will have some opening comments, then we'll go to questions in the room. And if time permits at the end, we'll go to questions virtually. And a reminder to media to please speak up for the benefit of our live audience so they can hear your questions to Coach. So Coach, whenever you're ready, take it away.
All right, thanks Ross. All right, good morning everybody. All right, we're excited to have a new week and get back at it this week and super excited about playing here at home. Night game in the Valley is special, and we get truly get 7 of these days a year, and this is one of them. Finally here, we work all year to have these opportunities, and so just a great start to the week yesterday, with our guys, and eyes forward on a really tough App State team. So they're 1-0 coming off a good win, Coach Clark is a guy that I know a little bit. He came down here and visited. Several years ago, and had a chance to meet him a little bit then. But good football team. Listen, I think the first thing when you talk about App State is, they're just who they are programmatically, culturally. They've had 3 years in a row. They've had a top 25 win. So this is what they expect to do. That's just woven into the DNA of App State. Doesn't matter where they go. They expect to win, and so that's been instilled on them for a long time, and definitely have our full attention. But looking at their personnel, offensively, they're a true zone read type of team with a quarterback who creates option principles, because a lot of times you go back to the kind of the beginning of the zone read, with the pulls, a lot of times. Everybody was looking at old Johnny Manziel, right? You pull it and then you're throwing it off of the pull, and that's what you see a lot of that. So that creates, real true option principles. May not be an option, but it's a pull, a run, and a throw. So it really stresses you. You have to really keep your eyes on your work, really be disciplined, and that's an area we definitely have to improve from this past week for sure. But the quarterbacks, he's special. He's holds just about every record that you can have up there at App State at quarterback, and they've had a lot of great quarterbacks, so got a lot of respect for him. Threw 30-something touchdowns last year. Got 3 really good receivers that he distributes the ball to, and then this running back he is an outstanding player, number 14. Very, very good player. Great vision, great patience, really understands what they're doing, and got a bunch of guys that have come in there in the offensive line that have been around, and they've been in big programs and things like that. So it's a good football team. And then over on the defensive side, they present some challenges. They were one of the best teams in the country last year in creating turnovers, which is an area that we got to get on track this week. I thought we did take care of the ball well last week. I know we had 1 pick. That was a great play, but those things will happen. But defensively, we got to go get them, and so that's an area that we got to come out on top this week with these guys. But biggest thing for us again is just cleaning up some of the details, some of the mistakes, and continuing to play with the type of effort, toughness, physicality that we displayed last week, and see if we can find a way to get a W here going into an open date before we get into conference play. So that's our focus. Just getting better this week. Eyes forward, fully on a tough challenge, and then just excited about playing at home and getting a chance of the whole month of September to be here at home and hopefully again grow our team, create some confidence and some rhythm, and one day at a time. But good football team defensively. They're active up front. They move everywhere. They're not as big as the guys we just played, so they're going to be all over the place. So it presents a different challenge. You got to catch a lot of movement, this will be great for us because we'll see some other teams along the way that really do a lot of what they do out of an Okie front. So guys that they had one kid that's probably one of their best players. He wasn't able to play this past week, so we expect him to be back. He's disruptive. Good experience on the back end. Linebackers. I mean, it's a good group, and again, a scheme that will force us to be very disciplined on the offensive side as well. With our eyes, with our communication, and then just cleaning up some execution things that we can do a little bit better, and coaching as well. So, again, other thing that came from the game the other day was we went into it very healthy, and we're coming out of it healthy. We're in a good spot as a team, and so I'm excited about that aspect of it as well. Any questions?
You said last night that you spent a lot of time trying to rebuild foundational principles. I hadn't really heard you mention that before. I'm just curious if you could.
Yeah, just foundational principles of what this program's built on. Effort, belief, physicality, toughness, how you play. It's not where you play, when you play, who you play, what time you play. It's how you play. And if you play the right way, then good things will happen. And this is a team that's, I think, has a chance to really come together and have a heck of a year. I really love this team, man. I'm having a lot of fun coaching them. I'm having a lot of fun teaching them. It's a close team. It's a close staff. And it's fun. It's fun to come to work. I mean, it's funner when you're coming off a win, that's for sure. But I think the wins are going to come because you play with the right foundational things. The rest of it will come into play. And so that's what I'm talking about. The attitude, the leadership, just foundational things that we built this program on. And that's the thing I'm probably most encouraged about that I saw in that game the other day.
Do you think that you guys got away from that in the last several years? Or just
I just think you just not necessarily got away from that. I just think you have a lot of young players. We played the most freshmen in the country last year. You're teaching. You're always teaching. And, every team is different. You just have opportunities. But I just think that, you've got – it's not just for this year. It's for next year. We're not – you look at our roster, we don't lose a lot of guys. We don't lose many people. And so we've got a chance, I think, to really, if we can just have the how right, the way it needs to be, then the rest of it's going to fall into place for this football team.
When you look at some of the fundamental mistakes that you saw on film, is it just an expectation for an opener that stuff happens, or is it we got to coach better?
I think part of it is you play in Georgia. Pretty good, and you things get magnified when you have, but that was elite talent on both sides both sides, elite talent, not good talent, elite talent, and when you have talent on talent, especially in an opener, some things can get exposed, and I think, part of that's why I was excited about that game because, some things you can't teach, some things you have to experience. And our team will really grow from that experience. But how detailed, or, how small the margin for error is certain things. It's very simple stuff. Like leveraging the ball and being on the outside shoulder, so that the guy's got to stop his feet, and then we turn it back to Barrett Carter, who's going to make it a 1-yard gain, as opposed to never stop and we run for a massive play because we don't leverage the ball. Or how critical a missed tackle can be, when you're in man coverage and you got a guy, but we miss a tackle, and what that can do. So there's just some basic things, or how critical alignment is and how one play can impact a game. You're that far from being aligned properly. And these are little things that you gotta do the boring routine stuff well to win and beat a number one team in the country. And so sometimes you gotta experience that. But I think again, when you watch the tape, and when our guys watch the tape, they're very frustrated because we missed an opportunity. We missed a free opportunity because that one was free of charge. It's just on your schedule. You know, to get another one, you got to go earn it, because that was a playoff environment, and so that's a great opportunity to teach, and I think it'll really serve our team well, because they got a chance to see it and feel it and smell it, and they'll grow from it. But it's 2 plays can change, and then they also got to experience what momentum in a game like that feels like. You know, momentum in a game like that is powerful. You know, when we won the national championship in 2018, y'all think we were 44-16 better than that Alabama team? Check the rosters. Momentum, critical plays, you know, and so it's really it's a great opportunity for us. We missed the opportunity. That's the disappointing thing. We had a great opportunity and it got away from us in the third quarter on some very basic stuff. Fake jet motion, switch vert. We buy the jet motion. We start the rotation and call, and he didn't keep going, and so now our eyes aren't on our work. Big play wheel route, not even a wheel route, you know. And so these are very, very simple things, but that's how you get exposed. But that's what it comes down to. When you got really, really good, talented people on the field, it comes down to a few things. So, you know, that's coaching. You know, that's coaching. That's really understanding how important those little things are. And, you know, and then I think it's also, you know, that's how you learn how to, you know, really, truly grow your confidence when you play in a game like that and you feel, you know, that type of talent and how you match up. You know, there's just a lot that can come from that. So, and it will. And again, it's not always what you see. I know a lot of people just look at a score and they go this and that. That's fine. People can say what they want, right? They want. That's fine. It doesn't matter. What matters is how we go on. And man, we got a great season ahead. I'm excited about it, and looking forward to a big challenge this week. And this is a big challenge. It's a big challenge. But if we'll improve, if we'll continue to play the right way, and if we'll improve on some of the details, then we'll get better this week.
Is it hard for a defense to keep that attention to detail and that spirit when the offense, once again,
Shouldn't be. You got to be excited to go play defense, you know, and vice versa. If your defense gives up a big play, your offense can't, you know, all of a sudden, you know, feel this burden. You just go play. You go play. And, you know, you can't worry about that. You just got to go do your job. That's part of it. You got to go do your. We were down 14-0 in the national championship. We're down 14-0. You just go play. We were down 10 points in the fourth quarter in the 2016 national championship. You just keep playing. And so again, this is great experience. This is an opportunity you're teaching, you're growing. You have a new team, new players, young players. I mean, this is what we do. This is a great opportunity for guys to really feel that and grow from all these situations that come up in games. And I didn't think we handled that part of it well. I really didn't. I felt like, you know, both sides. You know, I mean, offense goes right. We hold them out, and all of a sudden they get the 2 quick plays to open the third quarter, which were not complicated at all, and they score. Now it's 13-0. We go right down the field and get points. Should have scored a touchdown. We didn't execute the quarterback counter the way we should have been a walk, and instead we got to settle. But we put a good drive together. We get points instead of being 6-3 right there. You know, it's 13-3. Okay, well, let's go play. Well, we go back out there, boom, here we go, get a missed tackle, and now it's 23, and it just all of a sudden it gets away from you a little bit, and that momentum and that environment. But again, that's a great experience for our team. It's a great experience and a great opportunity for us to grow, because there'll be more. There'll be more coming down the road if we'll handle our business.
Colin Griffin made his first career start at safety this past week. I guess, what did you see from him from preseason?
He did some good things, but he missed a couple of tackles. He missed it. We didn't miss many tackles. It's one of the better openers. That was a positive too. I think we had 9 missed tackles, which for an opener we've had that's not terrible, especially when you're playing Georgia. You know, we've had more missed tackles against much lesser opponent in an opener before. So we actually did some good things. But, he had a couple of critical missed tackles, one on a screen, that goes to the one, so, but those are things. This is your first game, and you figure out how small your margin for error is when you're playing the number one team in the country. And you're playing a quarterback that's a Heisman guy who's very experienced. I mean, that's their number one for a reason. So those things get exposed pretty quickly, and it only takes a few plays, 2 or 3 plays. The next thing you know, you're behind the 8 ball, and again, the momentum and stuff like that. But he did some good things. Kylan's a good player. He's still a young player, but he's going to be a good player for us. He has been. Did some good things last year, but definitely a couple of tackles and a couple of times. He didn't fit the gap on the one big play. He's supposed to trigger into the C gap, and he was deep and late, and so they ran around us. He's not where he needs to be, where everybody expects. So it's the importance of everybody doing their job, because when you don't, again, against an elite team like that, you'll get exposed. That's part of it. But he'll definitely improve from that.
I think Tyler Venables played, 10 snaps on Saturday too. With his, I guess, why did he play 10 Saturday, and will his role expand?
Just the way the game went. I mean, they just coaches' decisions. I mean, the way the game went, we played who we started mostly. We didn't have that many snaps. There weren't many snaps, first of all, in the game, but he had the one play where was a little deep on his alignment, and next thing you know, he's getting picked by the ref. Had the right read. If he's 2 yards tighter, he doesn't get picked by the ref and makes the tackle. So those are the little details that you have to clean up as you move forward across the board.
You've preached all summer about moving forward regardless of the result of the Georgia game. Just what happened to Florida State last night, just dropping 0-2 in such a quick fashion, feels like sort of sense of urgency with that messaging?
No, I'm not worried about Florida State. I'm just worried about beating App State. That's all I'm worried about. I don't have any more sense of urgency than I would have had if we won the game last week. This is the biggest game of the year. Ain't nothing matters except this week. Nothing. Let's go get better this week. Had a great practice yesterday. Let's have a great Tuesday practice, and let's get ready to go see if we can win a game this week. No different than any other week, regardless of what somebody else did.
You mentioned receivers a couple times over the last couple of days. Could we see a slight shift to the rotation there moving forward?
Yeah, we got 6 guys, and again, we've got guys that we consider starters, and that's a week-to-week deal. That's just how we look at it. We went into the game based on where we were in practice and all that stuff, and now you got a game, and you evaluate off a game, and you go from there. And you got another week of practice, but we like our group. Had some guys that did well, some that didn't do as well. We're a little disappointed, but it'll be a week-to-week thing.
I guess what's holding TJ Moore back from getting into that 6 or that 7? I guess is it just knowledge still of the offense?
We played one game. Nothing holding him back. He's right there. Just got to keep coming.
Talk a lot about momentum, and how does playing in a night game at Death Valley help you guys keep that momentum on your side throughout the game?
Our crowd's awesome. I mean, the energy, the environment's just, it's unique in college football. I mean, I think we lead the nation in winning percentage at home since 2000. I don't know, however long it is.
Alabama's a half game ahead since they got to play a home game last week.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. We're second by a half game since I don't even know how long, a decade or so. So I think we've lost 3 games at home since late 2013, and and we played a lot of big games. And those 3 games, I think 2 of them by 1 point, and 1 was overtime. So that's how important our crowd is. Our crowd's awesome. The environment's awesome, and it makes a difference. I mean, it's juice. It's momentum. These are kids. These aren't robots. I mean, these are just young people that love to play football, and, man, this is a great environment to do that. And, man, our fans create an amazing part of that being the at the top of home winning percentage. I mean, you think about, I remember we had, I think it was Louisville one year, came in here. I think it was Lamar Jackson was still here, but we had like 3 offside penalties in a row. That's momentum. That's 15 yards that way. That's all on the crowd, right? I mean, when was that? It was like 3 in a row, but or whenever. I don't know what year it was, but that's on the crowd. So that's how big momentum is. It's huge. It's an environment that's special. It's really special. Our crowd has made a huge difference. That's obviously what's happened on the field, but our crowd has had a huge part of being, the best in the country in the playoff era at home. Crowd's been a big part of that. Our environment's been a big part of that because it's just a ton of juice, man. It's a ton of juice, and it's not that way everywhere. I mean, you look around the country, it's not that way everywhere. But this is just a unique environment in college football. It really is. It's special. It's special.
Do you have to teach the freshmen that come in how to play with that juice at all and not get ahead of themselves with that, or do you just go out there and let them play?
We'll see how they do. I mean, some things you can't teach. Sometimes you just got to experience stuff. You can't. You just got to do it. You just got to get exposed to it, and then you get better from your experiences.
You talk a lot about execution. That's part of it. But do you feel there's anything structurally, philosophy-wise, with the offense that needs to change, just given the lack of explosive plays yesterday and maybe trend-wise over the last few years in a few big games?
I think the main thing is we need to quit stopping shooting ourselves in the foot. First play of the game goes for probably 30 yards. You could have made that throw, Chapel. We didn't make it. So we got to make the plays there, make the layups. Maybe I'm giving you too much credit. I don't know. The plays goes 30 yards. So, and then we hit a big play. We hit the first big play of the game. Then we hit another big play, but we get a penalty. And now you're against the chains. So if we do the things that we need to do, we'll be fine. And then how about let's give Georgia a little credit too. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I don't see many people going to line up and get a million big plays on them boys. All right? And, we'll get better from it. We're in a good spot, man.
Have you seen what you were hoping to see from your team over the past 48 hours in terms of responding?
Yep, that's been one of the positives. There's several positives that came from the game. One of them was leadership. It's a close team. Really, really great leadership. People have no idea what these guys put into getting ready for a ball game. How much work, how much sacrifice, how much they put into it. And when it doesn't go your way, and then they got to deal with all the craziness, it's pretty refreshing when you see the type of leadership that we have on this team. This is a good group.
Were there some guys that might have surprised you that stepped up as leaders?
No. Nobody that surprised me, but just more confirmation and good to see it in that moment. It's easy to lead when the sun's out, right? Can you lead when it's raining? That's I don't think you really know anybody in life unless you've seen them kind of go through something, right? I mean, anybody can be great when it all goes your way. Anybody can lead when it's all, smells good. And I think that's just, again, that's one of the reasons that I love this team. And I love what I do every day. I love the grind of it. I love the challenge of it. I love the staff. This is a really close staff. It's a close team. I'm having a blast with these guys. I'm having a ball. And, it's going to be a fun year. I'm excited to be a part of it and battle with them every single week.
Jaden Lucas did give up the touchdown, but it looked like he held up pretty well.
He did.
Physically over 62
He
snaps.
did. Real bright spot. He didn't get any live work, any scrimmages. So I was a little concerned going in, just the physical part of it, how he would hold up. But man, he did. He got outflanked a couple of times, but he had no hesitation in his game, which was really good to see. And again, on the one touchdown, that's he's got to clean up some technique and some things, but that was a big shot in the arm for us. And Shelton was ready to play. He's ready to go. We ended up not playing him, but he is ready to play, and I think it's gonna be nice to be able to get him back full go as well. So, but Jay Lou he was one I was kind of holding my breath when that first physical tackle came, but he didn't even hesitate. He did some good stuff.
Coach, what was it like to see A.J. Terrell honorary captain, and what has he meant to the Clemson program?
It was great, you know. Made the first big play in a national championship, set the tone, created momentum right out of the gate. So, I mean, he's a big reason why we won a second national championship. That's for sure. He's just a great human being. His whole family. I mean, his mom and dad are just some of the best people you'll ever meet. I've known Avion since he was like 6th grade, and you know, he's a neat kid too. Avion's a dude. Avion is a player. He is a great. And there's a play. They throw it. He's all over it. They throw a little bang 8, little deep glance right there, and he's all over. He missed the ball by like that much, and so the thing there is, if you're going to try to make that underneath play, you got to make the play, but at a minimum, you got to finish the tackle. And you know, it was a 2nd and 16, I think, that went for 23 yards, and that was just good on good. Good on good. Wasn't anything fancy, just good on good. Our guy was right there. It's inches, you know. And he's a really good player. He's a really good player. Very important to him, and you know, he's just a sophomore. You know, he's going to be around here, you know, a few more years here. So. Just a great family. And then AJ, man, it's special. His number just got retired at his high school. Obviously, he just, you know, signed a big new contract, and he's, you know, right there in Atlanta where he's from, getting a chance to live out his dream. And he was just, that's who he was here, just the same guy every day. He showed up to Clemson with a pro mindset, very mature kid, and just had another baby as well. So happy for AJ. And thankful for Avion. He's got a lot of good football ahead of him.
On Shelton, was it just you felt good about depth-wise?
We did. We felt good about where we were going into the game, and he was ready to play. We were only going to play him at nickel if we needed him. He was ready to go, but we were able to get through the game. You know, Khalil was fine, we were able to hold up, and we were in good shape there. But he was ready, and that's a credit to Shelton, man. That kid really worked his butt off to get back to be available for his team. So I'm happy for him, and obviously, you know, we got this game this week, and then there's an open date. So it sets up well for him to really truly be full go, you know, by the time we get into conference play.
Did you think Hampton would just have those 2 snaps? You think he'd play more? What kind of would it be?
Just depending on how our corners held up, you know. He at one point he was going to be starting, but you know, J. Lou was able to get back, and Shelton was able to get back as well. But I just, you know, you never really know going into the game on some of those things. Again, how I didn't really know how J. Lou was going to hold up, but he really held up well. Did a great job. Did a really good job.
Your evaluation of Peter Woods moving on?
I thought at times he was the best player on the field. I mean, he's a man. That dude is a problem, just like I knew he would be. Now there will be some things that he's going to learn from. You know, they kind of went into a little, you know, some when they got into some edge of stuff, just reading him, not blocking him, and so you know, those will be some things he can clean up, not necessarily clean up, but learn from, because he'll see a little bit more of that where people they'll just say, well, let's just don't block him, let's just try to. But you know, so but you also see us moving around some. You know, he's a guy that will move throughout the year, but man, TJ did some good stuff. TJ had some powerful rushes, some long arms. You know, I mean, he's a really good people. Again, we held up well because we were able to really negate the run at us. Biggest disappointment for me was 3rd and long. I mean, we created a bunch of 3rd and longs, and so we got it. That's a huge emphasis and a growth opportunity. But you got to give their quarterback some credit too. I mean, he's a very, very good player, and you know, he made a big difference in the game. But man, Peter's played 1 million snaps, starting on punt team, can run all day, didn't get tired. I mean, I was very impressed with Peter for a first game, and he's one of those guys too that's that, he's just a sophomore, but he's a leader. He's a leader. He's a very, very respected guy and a very committed kid to Clemson and to this program and to his team. A lot of good football ahead with that guy.
How about some of the backup defensive linemen who got in, like Trey, Stefilin,
Yeah.
Jaheim,
Yep.
Denhoff?
Yeah, all those guys. I mean, arrows up. Nobody that we go, They're all arrows up by all of them. They all got stuff they can do better. Yep. But they all have shown good progress. Hoffler's a guy. Again, we didn't have a lot of snaps. It wasn't a game with. I mean, there was probably like 110 snaps. That's got to be one of the fewest snap games. I mean, it wasn't many snaps in modern football.
Fewest in Clemson games is 2006.
Well, there you go. It's a few snaps since 2006. There wasn't a bunch of snaps. And to really get in a great rhythm of things rotation-wise and stuff like that, there was just a few boom, explosives. There wasn't a lot of drives. It was more they had a couple of explosives. We put 2 good drives together in the second half, and then we missed on another one. We had a chance to have the first points of the game, and we got negated by penalties. So just wasn't a lot of plays in that game. But it was 2 good teams battling it out, and they made a few more plays than we did. But those young guys got in there and did a nice job, man. I mean, Jaheim is going to be a kid that's going to help us. He's going to get better and better. Same thing with Hoffler. He's a guy that's going to continue to improve. Denhoff, man, has made a nice jump for us. He's a very conscientious kid. He's a high motor guy. He knows his strengths and weaknesses and what he can do. Trey, it was just so good to see Trey. I'm really happy for that kid. Those of y'all that have been around here, y'all know what this guy's been through. I mean, he's been unavailable the majority of his career. And to see him have his first true full spring, summer, fall camp, and to see that, because that kid can play. He just needs to play. And so to have those, we kind of got 3 starters there, with Capehart, Peyton, and Trey. Those 3 guys, they really did a nice job. I mean, Capehart was really good. And I mean, it was a really, if he plays like that every week, he's gonna have a heck of a year. But I'm really proud of those guys. And then the young guys getting in there. Steph Island showed up. He had a bust on the goal line. He had a bust, and when they walked in off the 1-yard line there, that kid's got it. Big Burley got in there, and you saw his. I mean, he's a freshman. And they're on their way, man. I mean, so I'm excited about the group, and we got a couple young ones in Heaven and Champ that are going to keep coming. They weren't ready for that show just yet, but we'll get them ready eventually. So I'm pleased with the overall group that we have. Just got to keep building.
Did it surprise you in the way Georgia rolled their safeties and coverage, or were you guys prepared?
No, we're prepared for that. Yeah. They did what they did. They line up and they challenge you, and you got to make plays, and you can't make mistakes, and you can't sit around and hope they make mistakes. We made the critical mistakes, and they didn't. They played a very clean game, from a procedural standpoint and things like that cost you. Probably the biggest, I guess, cost they had was on the scramble where Khalil came out of coverage to go tackle the quarterback, and he hit the guy, and it went for, they had linemen down the field, because that was just a scramble, busted play. That was probably the one play that they lost. It was just a lot of competitive plays, and they made a couple more that we did that really kind of got away in the third quarter, and we missed our opportunity. We missed our opportunity in the first half to score, and then we missed our opportunity in the third quarter to hold them out, and then go make it a 6-3 or 7-6 game on our opening drive. And and then we didn't handle the moment very well when we got down. We didn't handle that very well, and that's again an opportunity to really learn from it. But the fundamental things that I know wins games, I was very encouraged by those things.
Excuse me, Ronan Hannafin was working out with linebacker safeties per game. At least is that something you guys are considering?
Yeah, we moved him to defense about 3 weeks ago. Larry, you're slipping, man.
I asked you about it.
You did? I don't remember that. Dang, yeah, you boys are. You boys, I guess I'm slipping. Yeah, we moved him 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago. Yeah, we made that. We literally did make that move like 3 weeks ago. I've been waiting on y'all to ask me about him, but maybe we need to close practice more. Keep out the spies. No, we really are excited about Ronan, and that was kind of just so you know the background on him. That's how I recruited him. That's how we recruited him. A lot of people offered him as a defensive player. Alabama offered him as a defensive player. Some people offered him as a receiver, and I told his family up front, I loved who he was. It was easier for me to evaluate him as a defensive player. He was a no-brainer. It was harder for me to evaluate him as a receiver because all I did is he just ran by people and jumped up and caught a ball and ran a slant, and it was just harder to evaluate him as a true wide receiver. And I told him up front, the one thing I believe in is you let a kid play what he wants to play, and then you figure it out from there. And we've had a lot of guys that over the years, Vic Beasley, he never played D in a day in his life. TJ Green, told him the same thing. I said, let's see how you do for a year, and I'll let you know. And he came in here as a receiver for a year, and I'm like, you need to move to defense. And he played a backup 1 year, and then his third year he was a starter, and he was a second-round draft pick. So that's just part of coaching. And he was a kid that I said, it's probably because, and he didn't get here till last summer, so he's only been here literally 1 year. But after a year, and then two, will he go put the work in? And there's nobody on this team works harder than Ronan Hannafin. Nobody. And he's one of the best pure football players on this team. This kid is special. He can flat out play the game. But after really spending a year with him, I just think he's more natural on the defensive side. And, so you just turn on the special teams tape. He almost blocked a punt the other night. He's the first guy down the field. He's unbelievable. So the unfortunate thing for him right now is, we did move him in camp, he's a little behind just from he don't know how the cake was made, right? We just handed him a fork and here you go. So we got to get the foundation built for him, but there'll be a role for him on this team. And we're going to really develop him. But I see him as a guy that has a chance to really be a high-level player for us defensively. He's just natural. He can run. He's physical. He's got what you can't coach. You can't coach his toughness. You can't coach the will that kid has inside of him. He's relentless. And so this is a good year to really develop him and build the right, because I do think he's on the right side of the ball, and he really sees that and is bought into that. So, onward we go. We got to do a great job with him this year, and then these next couple of years, I think you're going to see something special with Hannafin. I mean, he's going to be a good one.
Linebacker, safety.
I think he's more safety. But I think he played nickel. Eventually, we want him to be able to play nickel, free and strong. He's not ready for that right now, but eventually we think he could do that. But we'll see how he goes. But he's just, he can just really, really run, and he is incredibly physical. He's about 215 plus pounds, and just he's everything you want on your team. And again, I just think his attributes are really suited for that side of the ball, and I think he'll shine there.
Aaron Murray, the former Georgia quarterback, put a video yesterday where he said Cade wasn't maybe as bad as everybody thought. He saw some good things, pointed to maybe some happy feet at times. Is that something you can coach, or does that just have to come from inside?
Everybody thought he was bad? Is that the consensus?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, good. I didn't think he was bad. The people in this building didn't think he was bad. Is there things he can do better? Yeah, absolutely. He definitely made some big-time plays, and he definitely in a game like that, first time, live and getting tackled and you're playing the number one team. Was there a couple times where I thought he could have reset in the pocket? Absolutely. He took the sack. There was no sacks by our offensive line, none. He really blocked well, held up well. The one sack, that was just an extra guy. He's just got to throw it away at 2nd and 10. And he tried to do too much at 2nd and 22. So he did some good stuff. Had 2 or 3 balls that plays should have been made. But he saw the field well. He's seeing things, and we're very confident in Cade and where he is and where he's going, and so he wasn't the reason we lost the game.
What does he need to do just to take that next step?
Same things I've said since y'all asked me that every other press conference. We've played 1 game, and you saw a lot of the things that he needs to do. He needs to lead the team, manage situations. He did all of that, but let's just reduce the negative plays. Don't put the ball in jeopardy. You had a lot of fumbles last year, ball handling, some of the fundamental stuff. He did a nice job with the ball. Obviously the one play that's just a competitive play. That's football. Their guy made a play, and just that's the way it is. You got tight coverage. You got to put the ball up, and you got to let a guy go. And he made just an amazing football play, but he did a good job. Not a great job. Certainly, we don't have our head in the sand. We coach him hard every single day, but man, he's our guy. He's our guy. So.
Would you like to see him get the ball out a little quicker at times?
Like I said, there was probably 2 plays where I wouldn't say get the ball out quicker. I just thought he could have reset. I felt like he got a little spooked by something that happened in front of him. Shrapnel flying, guy on the ground, and he just reset. And that's what he's done all the camp. That's what we've seen, And so, but again, these quarterbacks don't get hit in camp. That's the reason why people have preseason games. That's a pretty big preseason game we just played. It's a pretty big one. All right, so that's going to make him better. That's going to make him better for sure. And he did a lot of good stuff. He really did. I mean, it wasn't too big for him. Again, the things systematically that we needed him to do, he managed well. He saw the field well. I mean, he really was seeing things the right way. It's just unfortunate that, again, rhythm and momentum are a big part of games like that. His worst play was the first play. It's the worst play he had. Just missed it. But other than that, he put the ball on the money. And then you come right out of the gate, you miss that. Then the next play we get a motion penalty. Then the next play we get the completion and we drop it. It's your own schedule. Now it's 3rd and 15. He made some nice throws. You're just not going to make a living in 3rd and long, and these are self-inflicted wounds that can put you in a bind against a team like that. But I was proud of Cade. I thought he competed well. I thought his leadership was really, really good. And we got to make a couple more of those plays that he put there to make, and we'll get better from it.
There were a couple of throws, one maybe to Cole that looked like a really good throw, maybe to Antonio in the corner. Did they say they were having trouble seeing those?
That was a great throw to Antonio. Should have been a touchdown. First of all, we shouldn't have had to throw that because if Cade, that's an area, if you want, the second worst play to me was the first play and then the quarterback counter. He looked like C.J. Spiller back in the day out in front of the puller, right? Like, fullback's supposed to be out front. But again, that's a first game. It's the first moment, and all of a sudden he's just a little quick. And now all of a sudden you got a kick out, and they're boxing it, and we're trying to kick it out, and Tristan's leading up. And now that's just a little bit of a feel, and you're in the hip of your fullback, and bam, you hit that thing, and you walk in. And it's 13-7. And then the next play, we make a perfect throw, and Antonio doesn't find the ball. He just didn't find the ball. He just didn't track it. That was really, really well designed. 2 plays in a row, we just didn't execute. And again, those are things that, just the counter play, that was just well designed. Just the timing was just a little off by Cade. And I didn't see anybody perfect, in college football. And I don't expect him to be perfect, but I expect him to learn and get better. And I expect him to compete his butt off, and he did. he did that, and he led us well, and he gave us plenty of opportunities that we didn't take advantage of. And unfortunately, when you play the number one team in the country, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities. You got to take advantage of them when they present themselves. But that was a missed opportunity. But it's 13-3, and we put a good drive together, feel good, and then all of a sudden we go back out and miss tackle, big play, here you go. So got behind right there, but he's in a good spot.
I guess how important do you think this week is just to rebuild the offense's confidence and get some momentum?
It's important every week. Any chance you get to play, you want to play well every week. I mean, it's always important. No matter if you're undefeated or you're 4-3. It's always important to play well that week. It's 8-0, 4-4. It doesn't matter. It's always about the next game and just trying to win that day, win that moment. That's what it's always about. It's never not important.
I guess you feel good about how they put that game in perspective and context and kind of where their head's at.
Yeah, leadership. Like I said, that's probably one of the best positives that came from the game. Immediately, in the locker room, when we got back here, senior meeting yesterday, team meeting, the spirit of the team, practice. Yeah, it's very important. I mean, because you're living in a world of craziness. I mean, just where there is zero perspective, and so for young people, it's good for them. It's a good opportunity to, again, learn how to manage that, because that comes with it. This is what we signed up for. So you got to learn how to deal with that stuff, and that's part of being great. Because you're going to get some hate, you're going to get a ton of love, and you got to be able to. You got to be able to balance those things. It's the same for me. It's no different. I've been doing this a long time. I've had enough love to last me for the rest of my life. I've had enough hate for a lifetime too, right? But those things come and go. They come and go, and all that stuff is circumstantial. That's why for me the foundation of Christ, His peace, His promises, His grace, that never changes, and that's what I stand on. That's what I build my life on. The rest of it's just noise, for me. But you're dealing with young people, it's important. This is a great opportunity, because you got to handle stuff like that. It comes with it. It's what we signed up for. So you got to learn how to handle it. Y'all gonna write crap. Y'all gonna write terrible stuff. And when we do great, y'all gonna write great stuff. That's okay. Everybody's got a job to do. It's okay. That's okay. I don't take it personal. I don't read it or listen to it. It doesn't affect me. I love my job. I love what I do. I love all of it. And y'all can't change that. Nothing you can write, nothing you can say can change that. I love what I do. I love these kids. I love my purpose in life. And my life is on a foundation that doesn't change. It just doesn't. And, so hopefully that's something that our kids will learn as they go through, moments like this, that they can learn how to, handle adversity, learn how to handle success, because you're gonna have both in life. And that's a great part of what football teaches. And, hopefully the lessons that they learn through this program will, throughout their career will really build them into great men. And I don't have any doubt that it will. That's what football does. Tough game, man. It's a tough game. But it's fun. It's fun. Fun to compete.
Take one or two more for Coach.
How's Trent Howard?
He's better. He wasn't ready to go the other day. Probably be close this week, but should get him back soon.
Jarvis Green.
He's back. He's back practicing, so it's good to get him back rolling. Last night was his first practice. So we're working him back through his practice protocol, and we'll see where he is as the week progresses.
A quick moment. Any questions for Coach virtually?
Hi, Dabo. This is Amanda Poole with Watch Fox. I was just wondering, Saturday, Antonio Williams emphasized his confidence and trust in you and Clemson football despite that loss. What does that mean to you to have guys whose faith in you and Clemson doesn't shake no matter the outcome?
Man, we got the right people in the building. We got great kids. We got great people. and that's why I love this team. I mean, Antonio was a bright spot. Man, he was awesome. I told y'all he's going to have a great year. He's going to have a great year, and he's off and running. I just love that kid. I love everything that he's about, and he's just one of many. We got again the right people on the bus, and when you got the people part right, the rest of it will take care of itself. And when your best players are your best leaders, you got a chance to be really successful, and we will be. But I'm proud of him. And there were a lot of positives. Antonio was one of them. K-Part, there's a lot of individual things. Ryan Linthicum. Okay, I'm hoping y'all to ask me about Ryan Linthicum. Here's a guy everybody wanted to just throw away. Man, this kid, he really answered the call for us. He had a couple. He missed ID'd. He had a critical mistake on a 3rd and 1 where he missed ID'd a thing. But this kid really battled his butt off, and it's important to him. And I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of that kid. There were a lot of. I love Blake Miller and their physicality. Walker Parks is one of the greatest stories. Y'all have no idea. Like, we went from he was probably good chance never going to play football again, with a radical surgery that he had to go through, had to drop like 50 pounds or whatever and build his body back. I mean, and did all of that with not even sure he was still going to be able to play. And not only play, man, he played well. I mean, there were some great positives that came out of that game that I'm very encouraged about. I thought Barrett Carter, played well. Wade Woodaz. There's a play in that game on one of them jet sweeps that got outside us, and you watch Wade Woodaz run that dude down. That'll be on his NFL highlight tape one of these days when they're scouting him. Man, it was impressive. There was just a lot of the effort. There was just a lot of real positives within the game, that we can build on. And Antonio was one. Getting Wesco in there and just getting his feet. His first college play was not good. He got they let him know this was big boy football, and but then he settled down. And even though you didn't necessarily get the ball, watching him work was really encouraging. And so there were some positives there. Man, Tyler Brown, he's a guy we flunked in getting some guys the ball like we needed to. We didn't get Tyler Brown the ball to the 4th quarter. That's an F on us. And so, it's like not handing Maffa the ball to the 4th quarter, right? We got to be better than that. So there's a lot of things that we all got to do better. But there was a lot of encouraging things. I thought Brenny did some good stuff. And, he's going to have a great year. There were a bunch of individuals, AV, J. Lou, all those guys. Mickens had the one big missed tackle that should have been a 1-yard gain that went for 40 yards, which was costly. But, man, Mickens, he's going to have a great year for us. He's really in a good place, and he's just, we got the right people. We got the right people. Again, when you have the right people, good stuff will happen. It will. It's not always what you see. It's not always what you see.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Okay. Appreciate it.